Hello there folks, it's TIJ Game and welcome back to the Football Manager 2021 Conquering the Euro save. It's episode 2 of season 2 and in today's episode we go away to Lille at the Stade Pierre-Mauroy, probably butchered that, in the Ligue and then come back home to play against Stade Rennais, who have had a bit of a mixed start but they have got a game in hand, so I suppose they could be up to 7th or 8th on form. So it'll be an interesting episode, but it's been a long time since I've been with you guys. We played the first episode of the first game of the season against Monaco, and the positive is that we've been unbeaten since then. We've played 9 games. You can see we've had 4 wins, 5 draws, which I'm not really happy about. We've had far too many draws, you can see. We'll go through all the games now, very quickly, obviously. Against FC Lorient, we beat them by 4 goals to 2, but really that was a very close match. They were 2-1 up until the 80th minute, and then we just went completely gung-ho. Our centre-back, Andrew Gravelon, got a goal in the 80th minute, and then Attal and Trevor Chalobah with a beautiful goal. He got his first Nice goal, a nice volley from the edge of the box, made that 4-2. We went away from home to Reims, drew that 1-0. That was a disappointing match. We had 17 shots, 7 on target. To be fair, both teams had fairly high XG, sort of about the one area, and I've seen games that teams have had XG of 1 each, and it's finished 3 each, for example. But we made sure that we turned on the style for the next match. We went and absolutely dominated against Montpellier and beat them by 5 goals to 0. Cole Palmer getting his first goal for the club, and to be fair, he's playing really well at the moment, and the only reason he's not in today's match squad is that his match sharpness is a little bit lower, so we want to rest him for the next game. But he's had a good start to his season. Coman contributed another 2 goals. Dolberg, he made it 3-0 before half-time. Coman made it 20 seconds after half-time. And Terem Mofi got his one and only goal, unfortunately, so far since signing for the club from Lorient for 12 million in that game against Montpellier. We then went and got 3 draws in a row. A bit of a frustrating period. Much like the Reims game, we really dominated all of these games. We were actually behind against Stade Bretois. Dolberg got a goal, but then in these matches, again, yeah, it just didn't happen for us. So we were on a real barren period, but in the last 3 matches we've done pretty decent. We went and beat Nantes 2 goals to 1, which was nice. It was nice and sweet because we actually, I didn't tell you guys this, but we actually did try to sign Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang in the summer rather than Mofi because he was on a free transfer. We offered him £40,000 a week. You know, he's a versatile player, can still come and play for us. As a backup striker would be absolutely perfect. We offered him £40,000 a week. And he went to Nantes for 26,000. So I don't get that at all, but it was nice and sweet to beat him. And then we went and beat Nîmes Olympique by 2 goals to 0. 2 goals very much on opposite sides of the game. Zakaria got a goal in the 2nd minute. Again, another signing I've been quite impressed with, actually. He's come on and made appearances, dribs and drabs here and there. His average rating is only 6.82, but when I've seen him play, he has impressed quite a bit, and he's played a little bit in the 2nd team as well. And then the last game we played was really frustrating. Again, another draw. Very much 2 points dropped. We got an early goal courtesy of Kasper Dolberg, and we just didn't close the game out. Metz got a goal in the 75th minute. We then got a penalty in the last minute, and I thought, oh, thank goodness, we're going to get out of this and get 3 points. And Kasper Dolberg missed the penalty. So our XG was much higher than Metz. We should have got 3 points there. And that is where it leaves us. You can see we're in 6th place. I'm a little bit uncomfortable of that. I mean, there are probably... I hate using the what-if analogy, but I'm going to here. There are probably 2 draws that we could have converted to wins, and we'd have been on 21 points. Obviously, our goal difference would have been better than Marseille. I just worry, particularly given that you've got Lyon, PSG and Monaco on 23 and 24 points, that if today's episode doesn't go too well, those 3 might start to form a bit of a breakaway bunch. Now, I know realistically we're not going to have much chance of winning the league this year, but that top 3 is very attractive. That's Champions League football. 4th gets you Europa League football, and 5th gets you Europa Conference League football. At least that's what I understand. No, 5th actually gets... okay, that depends on the winner of the Coupe de France. I think 5th automatically gets Conference League, but depending on what happens, they qualify for the Europa League group stage, dependent on who wins the Coupe de France. But we've got 2 games today against Lille and Stade Rennais. You can see they're fairly similar to us in the table, both teams with games in hand. Bit of a worrying stat. Lille played against Manchester City in the week, and they beat them by 3 goals to 1. You can see they're in good form. They've beat Ajax, or Ajax, my sister used to call them, Saint Etienne and Man City. They've got a lot of good players. Jonathan Okoni, Stafan El Sharari. I mean, do you remember him in FIFA 12 or FIFA 13? He was the player everyone had signed an Ultimate Team. And then later on in the episode, we've got Stade Rennais, who have had a mixed start. They beat Saint-Etienne as well. They're not looking as good. Again, another team with European football. But let's stop rambling and get on with the first game of today's episode. So, the team looks like this. A very similar team to what you might have expected last year. Mofi's on the bench. I talked about Cole Palmer. He'd be a first-team player, but he's a little bit tired. But it's the usual back four. Dalot, Gravelon, Troost-Ekong and Ristic. Robson Bamboo is on the way back from injury, but you can see he's not quite there yet. Macaena and Chalobah in the midfield. Our normal front three, as you'd expect, and Crivelli up front. We did experiment in the last game with Kasper Dolberg up front, and he did get a goal, but that's purely because neither Crivelli or Mofi have really set the world on fire. So Coman and Dolberg are getting all our goals really at the moment. I don't think we are the underdogs. I really don't. I feel like if we are going to succeed, we're going to have to win these sorts of matches, or at least get points out of these matches. So again, El Shaarawy, Akoni, all their big players starts. Pjanic, Andre Gomez, I think. Oh, Angel Gomez, sorry. And there's our team, you can see. Draw, win, draw. So what's that? 9 points out of the last 5. I suppose I'll take that, but again, a big match today. Let's see if we can go and win it. I mean, the only match we've had on camera so far this year was that defeat against Monaco, so I'm hoping we don't get the camera jinx. It won't be very often I go away from you guys for 9 games. I just thought A's the weekend, so it's a good time, and I've got more time than usual to get the games in. And B, we're at a new club, so it's just nice to bed in without having the pressure of the camera and try and figure the things out by going a little bit slower. But now I feel like I'm confident in my squad. I know the players, which is half the battle, isn't it, really? And hopefully we can do well from here. But Dolberg's on the ball, in the box, he shoots. A little bit tame to Castiles. I'll tell you what, I didn't really touch on this earlier, but particularly in the last few games, we've had very good starts to games, i.e. the first 20 or 30 minutes, we come out of the blocks really well. And then in the second half, maybe the last 20 minutes, we start to falter a little bit. And I'm worrying this might be a little bit like this. But let's see. Quick cracking ball from Macaena to Dolberg. And Felipe with a good block there. I'd say that one was definitely going in the back of the net. Now, I think Dolberg will probably be on his way out in January, unfortunately. Because, let's just say, we've got Real Madrid scouting him. And we might be a good side, sure. Cracking stuff from Chalobah there, albeit Gomez was offside. If you've got Real Madrid knocking, there aren't many players who will turn down Real Madrid. And the real annoying thing with the French League, you don't realise, particularly when you're managing in England, is that you're not going to get the sort of money that you would expect for players. We did sell Cyprien, who was on the transfer list, the central midfield, who wanted to leave the club in the last episode, and he only went for 8.5 million. Now, if he would have been a Premier League player, you'd be talking 25, 30 million. But in this league, you just can't command that sort of money. So I am a bit fearful about Dolberg that we won't pick up a lot of money for him at all, because he's a big player to replace. I know it's not a one-man team, I appreciate that, but Dolberg is playing really well at the moment. And to be fair, we're playing really well in this game, it seems. 51% of possession, 85% plus completion rate, 1.55 XG. It's almost a little bit like I can't remember who it was against, but it was certainly one of the games that I showed you earlier where both sides had good XG, but it ended 0-0. Could this probably... Well, I probably don't think it will, given that Lille are on the ball at the moment. But if this ends 0-0, it's just another infuriating one. I would probably take a draw against Lille away from home, but being competitive, you're always striving for the 3 points on your own rather than the 1. A good tackle from Ristic, but it just put the ball out wide to Ginter. Ginter back into Pjanic, and Pjanic gets the opener. 62 minutes in, and I think that might be a good time to make our first substitution of the match. So we've got Macaena, who's a little bit tired. We've got Dolberg on a yellow card. I think we do bring Cole Palmer on, because again, he's played very, very well so far. I'm impressed with him. Again, if you don't remember, he's a youngster from Man City. We signed him for £2 million, and he's got a good average rating. His average rating's over 7, which tells you he's been a good player. And we just need somebody to do something up front, because clearly we're making the chances. Our midfield's doing a brilliant job, but it isn't happening in front of goal. And considering Crivelli got 18 goals in all competitions this year, I think he's got 2 so far. Now, I understand it is fairly early days, but he's got to get started at some point, and I guess this would be a nice time to get started. In Die on the ball. This is our problem, I think. I think we're a little bit like Sheffield United in the Premier League. We get the ball up, and then, particularly in Die, I've noticed, panics a little bit and can't get the ball in the mixer. If this goes 2-0 now. Good tackle, but we're being pushed here. Pjanic, El Shaarawy, get it out. It's 2-0. You know what? That really could have been one each. It really could have been. I'm just going to put Ndai as a winger, and he'll have to do what he wants to do, but this is a real concern at this point. And I don't think it's necessarily that we're not playing well. We're just not clinical. We are not clinical at all. Look at Lille there. They've had 2 chances and scored them. I appreciate it's on key highlights. Those aren't the only 2 chances they've had. But because it is on key highlights, those are the biggest chances they've had. And they finished both of them. A cracking finish, really, from Dalberg. Good finishes on both of the goals. Not a lot Bernardoni could have done to stop either of these. But this very much could be the game that signals that we're going to be out the title race here. But 18 shots now. 10 of them on target. It's not like we're not really getting the shots away. I guess the defences we're coming up against might be doing well. But again, I don't really feel like that's much of an excuse. We're going to bring Mofi on for Crivelli. Just see if he can nick a goal out of somewhere. We're going to need 2 of them at this point to get a point. And this is disappointing. Our first defeat, of course, since the first game of the season. But we've not been playing high-calibre opposition, let's be honest. And we've been drawing against some of them. So it's going to be a bit of a repair job here with Nice. No doubt about that. I think it's going to take 2 or 3 years to get where we want to be. And this might be a bit of a recovery season. But that is shocking from Koeman. That, I guess, does class as a shot on target. And I'm worried that all of the shots might have been a bit like that. But 22 shots, 11 of them on target, an XG of 2. And we don't get a single goal. I don't quite know how I feel about that. And what annoys me here is, for some reason, I don't know why, I've noticed this quite a few times. The XG on the match stats is different to the feedback here. Not sure what's going on. No, I'm not happy with performance out there. I don't care if they're defended well and all that rubbish. We should have at least got a point there, given the way we played. As you can see, quite right, we lost ground to qualify. Our first defeat in 10, but as I've said, we've had far too many draws. We've got Stade Rennais next, and we play them at home. Really, after that defeat, we need 3 points. So we're here for the game against Stade Rennais. They have got Aaron Ramsey in their midfield, which makes things very interesting. It's pretty much the same side as you'd expect. We've got a few changes. We've got Sakaria in for Ndai. He frustrated me last time out. I think you could visibly see that. And Mofi replaces Crivelli just to see if one of our strikers can get going this year. I think that's one of our problems, why we're not scoring as many goals as we would like. And as I said, that's because Crivelli and Mofi aren't performing. So fingers crossed, one of those players can get on with it. Again, as we come up to January, I do worry a little bit about potentially losing Kasper Dolberg, but we have got a lot of good youngsters. I've said this in the start of the save. They are going to start coming through. They're not going to help us short term. You can see in the table there, Lyon and Monaco drew last night, so only a point each. I think it was Monaco and Lille actually that played, and I think Saint-Etienne played against Lyon. Both of them getting draws. The Lille and Monaco match, Monaco scored in the 91st minute, so you'd have thought it was 1-0. And then Lille scored in the 92nd minute, so it finished 1 each. It was going to be a draw all along. That sort of match, it's just fate that it's going to be a draw. Whereas this sort of match, I know Stade Rennais look a decent team. We've had 67% of possession. We've really got to push on this attack. I think we've got to take this work ball into box instruction away, to be brutally honest. I think that doesn't help us out. We're just trying to make... Yes, we're making chances, but we're almost trying too hard to go for a good chance. And that is a nasty foul from Elena. I feel like that might have been outside the box. I will come back to you guys, because these take forever. I'm going to come back to you guys when we get a decision. So he's made his decision. What's it going to be? Penalty. Well, this would be a good start for us. I mean, it was a bit of a hack from Elena on Sakaria, but I thought it might have been outside the box. Can Dolberg score this one? He can. The keeper does go the right way, but Dolberg gets the starting goal. That's his 7th goal of the season. Our number 9. I guess we could play him up front. That might be something we do look to do if our 2 strikers are doing poorly. But ultimately, Mofi and Crivelli should both be good European standard strikers and should be delivering the goods. But it's not quite happening. You can see our front line, the front 3 are playing well. Sakari obviously got the penalty, but I don't think you get plus marks for that particularly. But he's got a 7.1. Dolberg on a 7.2. We're looking decent at the moment, but can we get a second? I feel like if we can finish it off in the first half, we haven't got to punish too much. And Sakaria gets a cracking goal. That's his 5th goal of the season. I feel like a few of those must have been in the second team, because I don't think he scored 5 goals for us. But again, another good signing it seems. Somebody who was, I think, overlooked by a lot of European clubs, I have to say. A good player with some good stats. could improve. He's only 23. And if Ndai keeps being a pain in the backside and just runs into the corner flag effectively and doesn't do anything with the ball, Sakari's going to have to be the man we pick. If he's doing things like this, he gets a goal. He's on a 7.6 rating. And this is the sort of form we want. With all of our players are playing well. You can see that, to be honest, apart from Moffy, all of our forwards and our midfielders are playing well. We're going to tell the guys not to become complacent because this is a match really we now should be winning. It'd be great to get a third, really. If we can get a third, that will finish it all off. Mofi can't quite get there. Didn't quite really see what happened there because of the sideline view, which I'm not a fan of personally. But in the director view, it goes for whatever's the best. So, 35 minutes left. I think that Coman is got a bit of a niggle. And because we are 2-0 up, we can afford to bring him off. What we're going to do, we're going to put... what do we do here? Do we bring... How good is Crivelli as a left winger? Not great. I don't want to particularly bring Cole Palmer on because he shouldn't be our solution for everything. Problem is Mofi can only play up front. Can Sakaria play on the left? Yeah, he can, I suppose. But then what's the solution there? We've got to bring Ndai on. I don't want to bring Ndai on, really. Yeah, alright, that's what we're going to do. We're going to have to bring Ndai on and hope that he doesn't do his usual mischief. And we're also going to bring... No, we'll keep Mofi on. We might as well keep him on for the full match. We're not at risk of losing anything. We might as well see what he can do over 90 minutes. And hopefully he can nick a goal or something. Because £12 million signing again, it must be something we're doing. That's what makes me paranoid. He scored 13 goals in the last few years every year for Lorient. So, again, he's a good player. He's played in every single game for them. But it's not working out for him here, you have to say. Dolberg's had a cracker, so he deserves to get a rest. We're going to put Cole Palmer on again as a substitute for him. And a much better result this than last time out. We were absolutely, well, I wouldn't say absolutely obliterated. That's harsh, I guess. Very harsh. We were certainly in the game against Lille. And as I said, we've got the right building blocks, but we just don't seem to be finishing off the chances, which, to be fair, is something we have done here. But is that because we've got an early penalty and we've kicked on from there? I'm not sure, but we took 3 points. I'm happy with that. Cole Palmer to Ndai. Ndai can't quite make it 3-0. Good football from us, though. That's good to see. Wouldn't mind a clean sheet as well. I know it's not the be-all and end-all, but it's certainly one for the stats and helps out our goal difference and all the rest. We have got Paris Saint-Germain in the next match, which means that we're very much unlikely to get anything out of that. And I'm not going to bring you that match because the temptation, I think, with the European leagues quite a bit is right. We'll play PSG every time they come on camera. I don't think there's any point doing that. We've got PSG and then Lyon, which I'll play both of those off camera. And then we've got 2 games after that against Marseille and Bordeaux. I feel like it's those 20. I know it's certainly Marseille. And I'm going to bring those 2 games to you because I think those 2 will probably be more exciting. Being the pessimist I am, I don't think we're going to get anything out of either Lille or PSG. Good result for us there. Good solid 2-0 victory. I'll take that. We'll send the assistant to that one. So in the table, that puts us on 20 points. You can see that we are... As I said earlier, it's very much early days. You can tell there's a group of this sort of bottom group here, maybe the 4 or 5 at the bottom. Then there's a sort of mid-table group from probably Saint-Etienne to Stade Rennais. And then there's Nantes, Bordeaux, ourselves, maybe Lille possibly. But I think there's a distinct difference between us and the top 4, and that's where we've got to get to. But a good victory there, good 2-0 victory. As I said, yeah, absolutely right. I've told you before, we'll play the 2 games off camera, then come back for Marseille and Bordeaux. And then, again, it's quite a long period before we have anything too outstanding. So I think we'll probably come back after those 2 games. Maybe for the Coupe de France 9th round. Depends on who we draw, really. We might come back a bit late, but we'll work that out, I'm sure, in the next episode. But if you enjoyed that one, make sure to leave a like down below, comment your thoughts, of course, as well, and subscribe for regular Football Manager 2021 content. I've been TIJ Gaming. Have a good rest of your day. If you're watching this, no, you wouldn't be watching this on Sunday because this comes out on Monday. Ignore me, but have a good rest of your day. I've been TIJ Gaming, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye for now.